The cockpit violently shakes as warning horns blare relentlessly in his ears. He is plummeting towards the Earth at a terrifying speed. Inside this multi-million-dollar F-15 fighter, gravity is taking over. He pulls on the stick, fighting the immense G-force crushing his chest. But the worst part isn't the uncontrolled dive. He glances out of the canopy and realizes the absolute impossible. The entire right wing of his aircraft is completely gone, sheared clean off. By all laws of physics, this jet is a falling coffin, but he is still flying. It is a scorching summer morning high above the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Nevada desert. Israeli Air Force pilot Zevi Nadivi sits confidently in the cockpit of his F-15D Eagle, slicing through the crisp blue sky like a silver blade. The F-15 is the undisputed apex predator of the air, a twin-engine behemoth with a combat record unmatched in modern aviation history. Nadivi feels the immense, raw power of the engines humming through the airframe as he glides effortlessly above the scattered clouds. This is a joint training exercise, a highly coordinated mock dogfight against older A-4 Skyhawks acting as the aggressor force. The air is perfectly calm, the maneuvers are meticulously practiced, and the mighty Eagle responds to his every subtle movement with absolute grace and lethal precision. He banks sharply to the left, the barren desert floor becoming a rapid blur of brown and orange miles beneath him, pulling a smooth, sweeping loop as he intensely scans the horizon for his designated targets. The mock battle commences. Nadivi instantly punches the throttle forward. The immense thrust slams him back into his seat as the massive fighter accelerates with breathtaking, dizzying speed. He dances gracefully through the endless sky, dodging and weaving, hunting the smaller, highly nimble Skyhawks in a relentless high-speed game of cat and mouse. He tracks his primary opponent, predicting the defensive turn, entirely focused and ready to lock on to claim a simulated victory. The adrenaline courses fiercely through his veins as the heavy G-force presses relentlessly against his chest, blending man and machine into one perfect weapon. Little does he know, another Skyhawk is aggressively pulling up through the blinding glare of the morning sun, completely unseen. The opposing pilot pushes his small aircraft to its absolute aerodynamic limits, banking incredibly hard to intercept the towering F-15. Their paths are converging. The closing speed is completely terrifying. Nadivi glances down at his instruments for a mere fraction of a second. He looks back up. A massive, terrifying shadow violently eclipses his canopy. The aggressor jet is right there, filling his entire field of view. There's zero time to react. There's no space to pull away. Then, a monstrous, ear-shattering explosion of tearing metal rips through the sky. The impact is brutal. Absolute devastation. A deafening crunch of tearing aluminum rips through the air. The aggressor Skyhawk violently rams into the Eagle's right side. Fire erupts instantly. A massive blinding fireball consumes the bright blue sky. The world violently flips upside down. The shockwave shatters the calm. The once perfect war machine is instantly broken. The perfect aerodynamic design is utterly destroyed. It is no longer an apex predator of the skies. It is a dying, mangled heap of heavy scrap metal. Gravity violently takes over, showing no mercy to the broken aircraft. The heavy F-15 snaps instantly into a horrific death spin. Down, plummeting down. The sky and the ground violently blur together. Brown, blue. A chaotic, sickening carousel, spinning faster, faster. The crushing G-force hits him like a massive freight train. It is absolutely suffocating. Blood aggressively rushes to his head. His face violently distorts under the immense invisible weight. His skin violently pulls back. He cannot breathe. His vision severely blurs at the edges, slowly fading into a terrifying dark gray tunnel. Metal screams. The crippled airframe groans in absolute agony. It sounds like it is tearing itself apart rivet by rivet. He is completely trapped. He is pinned deep inside a falling metal coffin. He desperately looks out the canopy. Nothing. There is absolutely no sky. Just a blinding, impenetrable white wall of vaporized aviation fuel and thick, suffocating black smoke. The massive fuel leak completely obscures his view. He is totally blind in a terrifying freefall. Panic brutally sets in. Pure, primal terror violently grips his beating heart. Pull! He aggressively screams into his tight oxygen mask. His hands frantically grip the heavy flight stick. He yanks it back with all his remaining strength. Nothing. Dead metal. The jet does not respond at all. It just keeps spinning. A violent, completely uncontrolled tumble towards the unforgiving desert floor. Bail out. The panicked voice of his instructor violently pierces the chaos. The master caution horn shrieks endlessly in his helmet. Red warning lights violently flash everywhere. A chaotic, blinding symphony of impending death. Bail out. His hand desperately hovers over the yellow ejection handle. Survival is just one pull away. But the terrifying spin aggressively continues. He is free-falling inside a flaming, uncontrollable comet. The intense heat bleeds through the thick glass. The foul smell of burning jet fuel violently fills his struggling lungs. The heavy metal violently shudders, plunging blindly. He is falling. Fast. Move. The desert floor rapidly expands in his cracked windshield. Time is completely running out. He is dropping like a dead stone. Nadivi's head is slammed violently against the canopy. The world outside is a chaotic vortex of brown desert and blue sky spinning at a terrifying rate. The F-15 is locked in a deadly, uncontrollable spiral. Warning lights illuminate the entire cockpit in an ominous red glow. The master caution alarm screams relentlessly in his ears. His instructor in the backseat yells over the intercom to eject. Bail out! Bail out! But Nadivi grips the flight stick with white knuckles. He is not giving up his ship. Not yet. He looks to his right to assess the catastrophic damage. A massive, blinding white cloud of vaporized aviation fuel trails fiercely from the side of his aircraft, completely obscuring his view. The massive leak hides the impossible truth. He has no idea the entire right wing is sheared off. He assumes severe aerodynamic damage. He just needs speed to regain control. He slams the twin throttles forward, all the way past military power and deep into full afterburner. The two massive F-100 engines roar with earth-shattering fury. The raw, unadulterated thrust kicks him viciously in the back. The heavy fighter accelerates like a guided missile. The violent spinning abruptly slows. The nose aggressively pitches up towards the sky. The flight controls suddenly feel incredibly heavy, but they are responding. He violently wrestles the stick and levels the wings. The desert stops spinning. He breathes a heavy, desperate sigh. He has control. He pulls back slightly on the throttle to assess the situation and preserve what little fuel remains. The airspeed indicator drops. Instantly, the aircraft betrays him. The right side violently drops into the void. The F-15 snaps back into a vicious, stomach-churning roll. The alarms shriek again. Damn it! The hard ground rushes up to meet him. He is losing altitude fast. Come on, work! He punches the afterburners again. Blinding flames erupt from the twin exhausts. The monstrous thrust tears through the thin air. The sheer, blistering speed forces air over the wide fuselage, generating just enough lift to miraculously compensate for the missing wing. The jet violently shudders, but levels out once more. He is flying a rocket, not an airplane. He eases the stick back. The nose rises, but he is moving way too fast for a safe approach. He tries to bleed off speed just a fraction. He pulls the throttle back a single millimeter. The master caution alarm instantly blares. The plane violently rolls to the right again, dropping like a heavy stone. The crushing G-force pins him. No, move. He shoves the throttles to the absolute maximum. The engines scream in protest. The wounded jet fights gravity with brute force alone. He levels out. The terrifying loop continues. Speed up, survive. Slow down, spin to certain death. He is physically wrestling a dying beast. His muscles burn. The airframe violently shakes as if it wants to tear itself apart entirely. He needs to maintain a blistering 260 knots just to keep the aircraft from snapping into an unrecoverable death spiral. It is a grueling, relentless fight between the sheer willpower of the pilot and the unforgiving laws of aerodynamics. He holds the throttles firmly at max. He stares straight ahead at the horizon. He cannot slow down. If he pulls back on the power, he dies. The long runway of the Rahman airbase rapidly fills his windshield. He is coming in blistering fast. He is flying at 260 knots, exactly double the normal landing speed. He lowers the landing gear and holds his breath. The rear wheels violently slam into the hard concrete. The entire airframe shudders under the immense impact. He drops the tailhook, praying it catches the emergency arresting cable. A massive, violent jolt rocks the cockpit, but the incredible speed is too much. The thick steel cable snaps under the immense stress, violently ripping the hook clean off the jet. The rubber tires scream in absolute agony before blowing out completely. Blinding sparks fly as bare metal grinds fiercely against the runway. He slams hard on the brakes. The massive jet skids, desperately fighting the intense forward momentum. Slowly, the terrifying speed bleeds off. The screaming metal finally groans to a complete and sudden halt. Silence washes over the cockpit. He cuts the engines. The deafening roar fades into the quiet desert wind. He breathes. He actually made it. Nadivi weakly pushes the canopy open and climbs down the ladder, his legs trembling from the sheer physical exhaustion. He turns around to inspect the severe aerodynamic damage he fought so hard to control. He freezes. The blood instantly drains from his face. He is completely breathless. The thick fuel vapor has finally cleared, revealing the terrifying, impossible truth. The entire right wing is gone. It is sheared clean off right at the root. He just flew and landed a rocket-powered fuselage. Zivi Nedivi survived the impossible ordeal. McDonnell Douglas engineers simply refused to believe the story until they saw the incredible photographs themselves. Miraculously, that very same F-15 was repaired, given a new wing, and later scored another confirmed kill in combat. Sometimes, even missing an entire wing, the mighty F-15 refuses to quit. But try to imagine what happens when a desperate pilot, completely out of ammunition, is forced to use his own spinning propeller as a flying chainsaw to slice off the tail of an enemy bomber. Check out that insane story right here.